You always were pathetic, she said, her voice laced with amusement, chuckling as she slid the divorce papers toward the judge. Her boyfriend sat next to her, his shirt too tight, his ego wider than his shoulders. He smirked at me across the courtroom, a smug, confident expression that I almost couldn't bear to look at. Should have seen this coming, man, he said, his voice dripping with mockery. I didn't respond. I just nodded, calm on the outside, but inside I was counting the seconds. 3 years ago, I thought I had found my forever. Emily had this way of looking at you like you were the only person in the room, like everything else faded into the background. And for a long time, I was the center of her world. We bought a house on the edge of town. Quiet, old bones with a front porch swing that creaked when the wind blew. I built her a garden, and she painted the bedroom walls that soft lavender color she loved. Mornings meant pancakes and coffee. Nights were wine and forehead kisses. We were solid, or so I thought. The first crack wasn't obvious. A late night here, a forgotten text there. I chalked it up to stress. She told me work was getting heavier, that deadlines and promotions were weighing on her. I believed her. Until that Saturday when I came home early. Her car was in the drive, and the bedroom light was on, the window slightly open. I heard it before I saw it. His voice, laughter low, confident, hers softer, secretive. Then silence. And then the bed springs. I didn't go in. I just stood there, under that damn lavender-painted window, listening to my wife fall in love with someone else in our bed. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just turned around, walked back to the car, and drove away. Quiet, empty. But something inside me broke that night, and something else woke up. I spent the next 6 months becoming invisible. I moved out. I told her I needed space, and she nodded too easily, like she was expecting it. I played the part of the hurt husband, quiet, distracted, lost. But while they laughed and played, I was watching. I hired a private investigator, a quiet man with sharp eyes. He gave me everything: dates, photos, texts, hotel receipts. Even a stupid little nickname they had for each other. King and Queen. I got a new lawyer, ruthless, cold, thorough. We dug into everything: finances, property, even her phone backups. And that's when we found it. The account. She'd been siphoning money into a private fund. Small transfers over time. Hidden under old business names. It was clever, I'll give her that, but not clever enough. The day of the hearing, I wore the same suit I had worn when I proposed to her. She wore red, confident, smug, like this was all just a show. And maybe it was. To her, I was still the quiet husband, the one who didn't fight back. Her boyfriend, sitting there next to her, actually winked at me, like I was the punchline of their little game. The judge moved quickly. The settlement was leaning heavily in her favor. She'd get the house, partial alimony, and a generous cut of my business. She smiled, her boyfriend laughed, and said something under his breath. I think it was easy money. Then my lawyer stood up. Your Honor, he said, sliding a folder across the table. We have additional evidence to submit before the final ruling. Emily's smile twitched, just for a moment. Inside that folder was proof of infidelity, financial fraud, and unauthorized use of joint funds. Her boyfriend's face dropped first, and the judge's tone shifted. Mrs. Carson, he said, did you authorize these transfers? Were you aware this violated your prenuptial agreement, clause 4.7? She stammered, tried to shift the blame onto me. I just sat there silent. Still, the judge continued. Given the breach, this court finds Mrs. Carson ineligible for spousal support and forfeits her claim to joint assets. Her mouth open, but nothing came out. Her boyfriend leaned in, whispered something sharp. She slapped his arm, and he stood up and walked out, his smug expression gone. She was still trying to make sense of it when the judge added one final nail in the coffin. And given the fraudulent nature of the fund transfers, Mrs. Carson is subject to restitution, payable immediately, along with attorney fees incurred by Mr. Carson. That was the moment the laughter stopped. Her hands shook, and tears welled up in her eyes. Not the quiet kind, but the ugly, uncontrollable kind. The kind that make you realize you bet everything and lost. Outside the courtroom, I walked past her without a word. She called my name, but I didn't stop. She begged, apologized, said she was just confused. I paused at the door, turned just enough to meet her eyes. You laughed at me. I said, my voice low but steady. You and him. You thought I was weak. A beat of silence passed, just the echo of her sobs. Then I left. It's been 7 months since then. She sold the house, couldn't afford the mortgage or the memories. He didn't stick around. Guess the king found another queen. My lawyer says she's still making payments every month on time. I never replied to her letters. Never opened them. Some people heal by forgiving. I healed by remembering. By making sure the world remembered too. She thought love made me blind. But love made me patient. And patience is what buried her.